Hi, I'm the math guy Steve. Let's try finding the roots. So when finding the roots to a polynomial function or polynomial expression, it's the same as finding the solutions to an equation or finding the zero, okay, to that function. And so how we find the zeros is by setting it equal to 0. Okay, let's try it. So here, if I set this equal to 0, it's a cubic. So setting this cubic equal to 0, we get 0 equals x cubed minus 4x squared minus 11x plus 30. Okay. And now we try solving this cubic equation. Now, since it's 4 terms, we may try factoring by grouping. That doesn't quite work here. So instead, we'll use our rational zeros theorem, okay, which says if I take the factors of the constant term and divide them by the factors of the leading coefficient, then that would be the only potential rational zeros for this function. Now, since the leading term has the leading coefficient is 1, then we can just say, well, that's just the factors of 30 here. Okay, so when whole numbers multiply to give me 30, we would say, okay, plus or minus 1, plus or minus 2, plus or minus 3, plus or minus 5, plus or minus 6, plus or minus 10, plus or minus 15, and even plus or minus 30. Okay, and again, we're saying plus or minus because like negative 30 times negative 1 would give me a positive 30. So we see, well, which one of these are potential rational zeros, which one of these are possibly zeros. Now we're just guessing and checking from there using synthetic division to see if the remainder is 0. If you try 1 and negative 1, we know you usually start with the lower numbers. We try 1 and negative 1, we know neither one of those work. But if we try 2, it does work. Okay, like here. If I plug in into my using synthetic division, we get, okay, so 2 and then 1, negative 4, and negative 11, and 30. And hopefully my remainder is 0. All right. So first with synthetic division, we bring down the first number, bring down that 1, and now it's a bunch of multiplying and adding. Here, if I multiply 2 times 1, we get 2. Add, we get negative 2. Okay. Multiply, we get negative 4. Add, we get negative 15. Multiply, we get negative 30. And add, we get 0. Okay. So again, since our remainder is 0, we know that 2 is indeed one of the zeros or one of the roots. Okay. Now, to find the rest of them, now we have a quadratic. And we can use quadratic formula or factoring or completing the square or the square root property, any of those tools. Okay. Here, I think it's factorable. Let's try it. So we set that expression equal to 0. Okay. And here, again, it's factorable, right? We can just go straight to our double bubble. Okay. X and X. And let's see, we need numbers that multiply, give me negative 15, combine to give me negative 2. So that's negative 5 and positive 3. Now setting each of those equal to 0, we get X minus 5 equals 0 and X plus 3 equals 0. We solve each of those separately. So here X equals 5 by adding 5, and here subtracting 3, we get X equals negative 3. So those will be our 3 solutions to this equation. In other words, our 3 roots, okay, to this polynomial function. So finding the roots, again, we can use any of the tools, right? Set the function equal to 0 or set the expression equal to 0. And then from there, we can, since it's a cubic, we can try factoring by grouping. Here we use the Rational Zeros Theorem, okay? And then once we find one of them, this brings it to a quadratic. Now we can use any of those quadratic tools. Quadratic formula right here, factoring worked as well, okay? Always remember, math is everywhere.